filming the first instruction video in the You Make It, You Sail It LYC 8 on how to build one. We've gathered all of the materials from the kit as well as all the additional items. We also have 2 volunteers today. We have Grandpa and Braden who are going to assemble it. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is the different tools. Primarily we got a drill that has a ability to pre-drill for screws so that they get mounted correctly. Of course, a Phillips screwdriver, and then safety glasses, of course, and our list of measurements that off the website and the information for building the kit and all of the parts. We also have the miter saw. This could be a hand saw, it could be, but again, the issue of cutting straight edges is important.
Here's the actual measurements today that we're using while building the frame of the LYC 8. Please refer back to them at any point when you need to refer or verify them.
One of the first starts in the project is to put the frame together, and so the first step in that is to cut each of the pieces per the instructions. So they're currently working on item A, or I guess the first piece, A. Once you've cut your first piece, again, everything is symmetrical on this boat. Take the piece you cut and use it to measure the next piece. That way everything is exactly the same size, even if you're off a little bit on your measurements. We've now cut out the A pieces, so Braden here is marking to make sure we know which are the A pieces. These are the actually the front of the boat and the stern of the frame. We have all of the frame all laid out, ready to put together, and the next step is to measure the front crossbar to position where the mast is going to be. So we're going to find dead center, and Braden now is going to mark it at 30 inches. Okay, at this point, before you actually assemble the frame, we want to get the center of the mast straight and make sure it's at the center. So we've measured, as we said, the middle. And we now have taken the PVC, which is the holder for the mast, and we've got it centered as well. And then making sure that we know exactly where that is before we do the next step in the assembly. Making sure the corners are straight, drilling some pilot holes. Corner this, otherwise you'll get wood will split on you. Put the first screw in. We've got all 4 corners all screwed and secured. It's mounting that front crossbar. It's important to make sure the mast support is straight up and down, so you can check that with the square if you need to. But having it on a flat table and making sure your corners here are the same distance as the mast. So when you look at your mast here and you look at how tight it is on each one of those corners, it's important that it's all, again, symmetrical, and we're ready to put it together. Excellent. The mast centered and holes all drilled, putting in the last screw.
Here are the measurements for the rudder post assembly.
Assembly for the rudder system has been completed as far as staging it. Now we're going to screw it all together.
Give it a touch. Okay. Do we check to make sure this is
Yeah, check it real quick. Wow. Good one, man. What? You don't have a screw?
There we go.
Not prepared for the job, man. Showing final assembly. Good job, Braden. Frame is now fully assembled. with the rear rudder ready to mount the straps for the actual rudder itself. And oh, by the way, there is some extra help in the background. And making sure that mast is nice and straight. As you're mounting the rudder post on the back of this, the idea is, of course, you want that to be straight up and down. The distance from the bottom of this line here up to here is 4.5 inches. That's to give us enough room so that the rudder can be pulled up when you sit on the beach and the rudder won't touch the ground. So that's important to start your bottom set here and then work your sets up for holding the rudder post. Bryden, go ahead and butt that screw for me. Yeah, key on those screws is to countersink them. And it is mounting the final loops in the front. This is where your spinnaker sheets will run through. There you go. And then there's one on the back corner on each side. That's where your stays will be mounted for your mast. That'll work.
We're making the rudder itself. And so Grandpa is creating some circles here so we round the edges. And we do three corners of it. So we actually kind of get into that kind of shape is what we're trying to get to.
Finishing up the actual rudder itself, where it mounts, and Grandpa is drilling through here, pilot hole. Careful your finger there. To mount the 3 carriage bolts. There you go. Here he's squaring out the top of the hole for the carriage bolt. He's mounting a hole for a little bolt that goes through with a wing nut so that you can take the rudder off and on when you're not using it. Have him drop a little bit. I see he's angling. You can drop. There you go. There you go. Good enough. Let's go back and drill it with a bigger drill. And we'll mount the nut. So the webbing around under the underside, and you can either screw it or staple it. Create whatever pattern you want, like a lawn chair. To the point here, we've got the frame all constructed, the rudder constructed. We actually got the hulls sitting underneath. They will be shaped here moving forward. That'll be the next step. Also rigging, and that'll be additional videos as we go forward. I know Braden here has not named the boat yet, but I'm sure he will soon. Thanks, guys, and we'll look forward to completing her and for the race. And we'll also show you how to paint the hull here in further videos.